Hello everyone and welcome back to Certified Reviews. I'm Syndi and today we are going to be taking a look at the Gossip Girl revival with Whitney Peak, Jordan Alexander, Thomas Doherty, Emily Ann Lynn, and Evan Mock. Nearly a decade after the conclusion of the original series, a new cast of Manhattan private schoolers takes the lead under the watchful eye of Gossip Girl, while demonstrating how much social media and the landscape of New York City itself has changed in the intervening years. This show was created by Joshua Safran. Gossip Girl 2.0 has been canceled, and I am not surprised, but it still hurts a little bit. Like, I just felt it coming. Especially going to season 2, I just felt like the enthusiasm for it just wasn't really there. About a year ago or 2 years ago, I made a video about this reiteration of Gossip Girl, and I was like so hype about it. The season had not finished yet, but from the episodes that I watched, I was really into it. And I guess I'm here with some recants. Like, it's not what I thought it was going to be, and it's a real shame because it had so much potential to be something really interesting. I think the ideas that I had for it, or the ideas that were presented, were really interesting. You had a diverse group of cast. It wasn't old money, it was new money. It just didn't land. Like, there were definitely certain things that made the original Gossip Girl really good, and I think when you take the problematic elements out of it, it actually makes it not Gossip Girl. It makes it something completely different, which is something I didn't realize until the show ended, really. It definitely did not reach the potential that it could have. So we're gonna discuss that a little bit. What I will say though is that the music was so great. I still think, well, the music was always great. I think that's like a staple of Gossip Girl. Like, the music and the fashion will always be on point. And I feel like in the second season, the music and the fashion were still great and actually improved upon. Like, Julian's closet was, like, I need it. And I also like need Aki's. You know, I need his clothes too. Their closet's amazing. The music put me onto so many good songs this season. So like, that stuff is still good. Let's get into some of the problem areas. First of all, the writing. I mean, again, in my last video about Gossip Girl, I definitely talked about how this show is supposed to be campy, and the writing isn't supposed to sound like normal people speaking. Like, it's very particular to that sort of world, and then heightened because it's teenagers, and it's supposed to be a little, you know, a little soap opera. And it definitely is that. It definitely was that this time, but it's just, for some reason, the writing just didn't, like, there were some iconic lines from the original where you can like say them back and it'd be like, that's ridiculous, but like, serve, you know what I mean? This time around, people were just saying things and it's just like, it was more cringe than camp. I don't think the writers knew what they were doing with these characters at all. Like, they had like an idea and then they tried to scratch underneath the surface and it really didn't go anywhere. So you just had characters that were just kind of there who used to be important and then they weren't. Zoya, like, once her arc with Julian and figuring out who she was in the Upper East Side, once that finished, they really didn't know what to do with her at all. So she was just kind of there. Like, it was like, isn't she supposed to be one of the main characters? It's so weird. If we all cohesively agreed that all the characters are terrible people, like they're gonna do bad things, they're gonna backstab their friends, they're gonna sleep with each other, like, if we just agreed on that, I feel like we would have had so much more fun with it, you know? Like, it wouldn't, I think they tried to take it too seriously where they were trying to tackle big issues because they had diverse cast and because it's like 2022, 2021, like when they were coming out with it. But in terms of trying to make it like not problematic, it just was boring and confusing and frustrating. Like, it wasn't fun. I'm glad, I like how the season ended where Luna is able to like be a model and be on her own, separated from the rest of the gang. Like, she looked like she was over it from jump, and I'm so happy she's like doing her own thing. But with Monet, it very much seemed like she was supposed to be like Queen Bee, the actual Blair Waldorf reinterpretation versus Audrey. So they tried to like recon and like try to figure that out season 2, but it didn't really work. So we're still dealing with Julian and her mess, and it's like she's such an uninteresting character to watch. So dumb, like beyond like how like girl is working with 2 brain cells. Like every plan that she tries fails, and it's like after a certain amount of episodes, like you know it's not gonna work anymore, and it's like, why do I care about her story? I'm gonna talk about the throuple real quick. The Aki, Audrey, Max throuple. Literally, Max was the only character that was interesting last season. He is the best actor on that show. Just by the way, like he's the best actor. Thomas Doherty carried that show on his back. Then this season, they just threw him in the throuple, and they were like, the throuple is your personality now. And it's like, why would you do that? Like, why would you just decimate his entire character arc? Like, he had so much going on with him and his fathers. Like, at the end of the day, at the end of each episode, it's just their relationship. And I'm like, how do you just throw 3 characters together and be like, we don't care what you guys are doing, your relationship is the only thing that you're doing, goodbye. Like, it's just very strange that they would do that. Like true character assassination, and then just like complete poor character development. Telling the audience who Gossip Girl is from the jump kind of ruins everything. And I was like, yes, that's so true. Like the idea that you already know, one, I don't think is necessary, because you know, we have Dumois, like we have like these types of all Big Brother, all seeing, all knowing platforms now where, yeah, you could be watched if you have influence or if you have money. Like that is kind of normal now. Having it be the teachers, again, never made sense to me. It was illegal and stupid. And also their idea that like they were helping the kids be better people, I don't even know where that came from. Like, how do you imagine that works? And also you didn't do it because all of them are so terrible. So I don't know. Kate accomplished absolutely nothing. And her mission to try was the worst parts of each episode. And then the parents got involved, and it's like, girl. The last technical thing is that the acting, like the performances, just weren't strong. I think, again, a lot of decisions were made based on how these people looked, like their aesthetics. Like I think they found Evan Mock on Instagram. He's also a model, but like they were like, oh, this person has a cool look, so they'll be in the show, versus like, can this person actually act? You know, Euphoria is like whatever Euphoria is, but you have to admit that performances are great. Like the kids know how to act over there, and it's a teen show, and it is kind of cheesy. So I feel like if we're going to do an HBO rendition of this where it's more mature, the acting should have leveled up as well to kind of meet that, you know, same standard of like giving young adult entertainment that's still quality. Gossip Girl worked really well, the original, because it was kind of the best version of reality television, where reality television is scripted, like we all know it's scripted, and it's real in terms of like, these are real people, and these are like their real family members, this is what they actually do, but it's not real in terms of like the situations. So I feel like Gossip Girl, that's what it was for me. It was like really good reality TV, but just like obviously scripted reality TV. They would incorporate real life things into, you know, into the show. So you'll have, you know, Charlie XCX come on, you know, playing herself. You'll have Jeremy O'Hara be on there, and you know, we talked about that Tribeca Film Festival and the Met Gala, and like, you have these real life events where it makes it believable, like this could happen. If this was done properly, it would have been that. And that's what Gossip Girl, the original one, was. It really was like really juicy reality TV. Ultimately, I don't think this was ever gonna work. I think it was a cool experiment, like a cool thought experiment. They were trying to tackle serious issues of like race and class and, you know, having privilege. That's cool, but I also just feel like that's not what Gossip Girl is. Like, it's not there to give you like real life, you know, scenarios that, or have like deep discussions about systemic issues. Like, I don't think that that's what the purpose of the show is for. It's escapism. So maybe the mission of like what Gossip Girl was supposed to be was just lost in terms of this new iteration. The vibe was weird, and it did lose a little bit of the magic trying to bring it down to earth, which is why I think it ultimately couldn't have worked, not in this way. There was an article in the British Vogue that stated like, does anyone actually care that Gossip Girl is canceled? And yeah, I definitely care, because this version had so much promise, and I don't think that this version was able to live up to that moment of like really transforming Gossip Girl into something that was fun, campy, but also like you can see yourself in some of the characters. I care because it could have been so great, and 2 seasons in, it's over, and like that's it. By the time the finale aired, we already knew it was canceled, so there was no reason to be invested in whatever plot lines they were trying to set up. So yeah, I'm disappointed, I'm a little hurt, I'm a little sad, because it had so much potential. I'm giving Gossip Girl 2.0 a 6 out of 10. If you watched the Gossip Girl revival, let me know what you thought in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next video.